Thank you for joining me, Diana Master, on NMH at 1, where we highlight the news making waves in Namibia and beyond. Let's take a look at the headlines. Medical aid funds pay staggering $411 million Namibian to administrators. World Bank holds $150 million Tanzania Tourism Project amid rape, evictions and killing allegations. And the likelihood of TikTok being banned in the US has increased. We'll be right back with our midday news update right after this break. In today's midday news update, the finale of season 3 of the next Magaisa Star Search competition is scheduled for Friday, April 26th at the National Theatre of Namibia at 7 p.m. The event is presented by Volvicha Music Productions in collaboration with NBC, the National Theatre of Namibia, National Arts Council of Namibia, and Kaisamis, with the intent of searching for new musical talent in the vibrant scene of Magaisa music. We'll be right back with our visual news right after this.
Hello and welcome to today's Sports Rep Show.
I am your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraika. In replay, Namibia, who had won the toss for the first time on this tour.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with tennis news, both on the WTA for women's and
Getting into today's visual news clips, Walvis Bay Councillor Ephraim Shozi tabled a motion last night in a special council meeting stating that municipality must divorce Red Force. This video is courtesy of Leandria Moore.
Motion is clear unless we want to misunderstand my motion. I said Red Force must stop with immediate effect. Just for further clarification, we know the legalities and the financials that will be discussed at the next step. But the motion before us has ended the Red Force occupation. Yes. We have divorced Red Force with immediate effect. The legal route and the financial implications will be the step after. But Red Force stop today.
Sticking with that council meeting called in Walvis Bay to table a motion to terminate the contract with Red Force quickly adjourned after Councillor Sarah Mutondoka stated that she wanted to address the narrative that IPC appointed Red Force. This video as well is courtesy of Leandria Moore.
I would like to first of all diffuse a narrative that is out there that IPC hired Red Force. IPC, nor its representatives are not administrators of government by municipality. There is no order in the meeting. The chairperson of this meeting can take the meeting with immediate effect. That is the rules. So can we please have order?
You can adjourn it. Let it go. If you do that, then we know precisely what. When you show your true colors, show your true colors today as the mayor of Pakistan.
Stay with us after the break. The Namibian Sun newspaper leads us into our newspaper review segment.
Welcome to What's Cooking, where culinary passion meets expert insights.
Thank you for staying with NMH at 1. We now take a look at what the lead stories are in Namibia's daily newspapers. On the Namibian Sun front page, medical aid funds made more than 411 million Namibian dollars in payments to administrators in the 2022-2023 financial year. This amount does not include what the state's medical aid fund, the Public Service Employee Medical Aid Scheme, pays annually to MedHealth Namibia administrators. During the period under review, Namibia Medical Care NMC paid MedHealth 125.5 million Namibian dollars, while Bank Namibia paid at 9.6 million Namibian dollars. Renaissance Health paid Prosperity Health 109.5 million Namibian dollars, while Gem Health coughed up 3.3 million Namibian dollars. Prosperity got a further 2.4 million from Napotel, while Namibia Health Plan NHP paid 126.5 million Namibian dollars. On page 3, available stock in government silos is running low, totaling just 16% of holding capacity. The Crop Prospects Food Security and Drought Situation Report issued by the Agriculture Ministry provided the latest statistics on the National Food Stock Reserve levels as of 31 March. The 5 national food reserves in Namibia, which have a collective storage capacity of 22,900 tons, held just 3,758 tons. According to the report, this included 1,110 tons of white maize at the Katima Mulilo silo, which can accommodate 7,400 tons of grain. Rundu had 2,164 tons of white maize, while its capacity is 4,000 tons, and the Okongo silo held just 484 tons of pearl millet, despite a capacity of 4,500 tons. The front page of the Republican shares a touching story about how a community came together for Zunel, who currently lives in China and unexpectedly had to undergo emergency surgery last week. Her sister Liza Vermaak posted on her Facebook profile on April the 13th and asked people for financial support to help pay for Zunel's surgery. Liza used the online fundraising platform Back a Buddy to create a profile for Zunel, and within 2 days, more than 200,000 Namibian dollars was collected, which was enough to pay for the operation. On page 3, Windhoek's deputy mayor has accused the Katutura Residents Committee of neglecting their obligations to pay for consumption, especially when it is disguised under the guise of advocacy. Joseph Wapingene has also defended City of Windhoek's decision to continue its contract with Red Force. The latter sparked great discontent among residents, who insisted that the contract be terminated. However, Wapingene says the decision to hire Red Force was taken after careful consideration of the financial implications for the capital and its inhabitants. On its front page, Allgemeine Zeitung also focuses on medical aid funds paying 411 million Namibian dollars to administrators. However, in an unrelated report, according to the legislative institution, the state railway company Transnamib will now only concentrate on freight transport in order to get the financially troubled company back on track. This proposal to restore viability comes from a report by the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Economy and Public Administration. Accordingly, limiting the traffic of dangerous goods and heavy goods should also help to relieve congestion on the roads. The exploitation of this potential is crucial for profitability. Consideration should be given to changes in the law that restrict the transport of dangerous goods and heavy goods to make it easier by rail. This would give Transnamib the capacity to transport additional quantities, it said. A loan from the Development Bank of Southern Africa could also be replaced with a guarantee from the country worth 2.6 billion Namibian dollars in order to invest the money in infrastructure. However, it is questionable how more transport can be achieved in the near future with the existing infrastructure. On page 3, the Agamana Zeitung focuses on the 2024 Tourism Expo, which officially opens today. Namibia Media Holdings, as the main organizer of the annual Tourism Expo, has always strived to consider tourism as a sector where the easiest of people can overcome created boundaries, and the efforts and goals of political associations like the Southern African Development Community are effectively united. The SADC has recently focused their efforts on finding ways to improve transboundary protected areas, which are also known as transfrontier conservation areas, not just for the benefit of the individual countries participating in a specific park, but rather for the region as a whole, aligning with the original goals, including funding of inter-regional tourism that were determined as an integral part of these TFCAs when they were set up. We'll now take a quick ad break and continue with our newspaper review segment right after the break.
Neo Paints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neo Paints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neo Paints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
The Namibian newspaper on its front page reports that the Executive Director of Higher Education, Training and Innovation, Alfred van Kent, says Minister Itakanji Murangi has fully paid off money she owed the ministry in travel allowances. Paula Snow, the Director General of the Anti-Corruption Commission in January, directed Kanji Murangi and her personal assistant Lignesia Wasepwani to pay back a collective 69,000 Namibian dollars of 952,000 Namibian dollars in travel allowances paid to them in 2022. Noah had given the two until the end of April to repay taxpayers' money. Kanji Murangi yesterday declined to comment on the matter. On page 3, the Maltahir community is pleading with Vice President Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah to stop Minister of Environment, Forestry and Tourism Pohamba Shifeta's desert tourism deal with a private company. The community has sent Nandi-Ndaitwah an urgent letter asking her to suspend Shifeta's decision to grant the company a 25-year contract to transport tourists into the Namib Desert. The letter, dated 15 April, was written by community representatives Benno Isaacs. He criticized Shifeta's decision to grant the deal to an outfit owned by Heiko Dogolo. Isaacs requested Nandi-Ndaitwah to investigate the matter, saying the community was not consulted and demanded that the contract be cancelled. The New Era's lead story reports that Namibia's strategic food reserves across the country are running dry at an alarming pace and on the verge of putting the country in an acute food shortage crisis at household and industrial levels. In the latest food security and drought situation report issued this week, the Ministry of Agriculture painted a gloomy picture of the country's dwindling strategic food reserves and sufficiency at the household level countrywide. As things stand, the country's strategic food reserve stocks are sitting at a worrying 16% of the total holding capacity of 22,900 metric tons of all the national reserves. On the paper's page 3, the Commerce region in China's Jiangsu province on Monday signed an agreement to deepen developmental cooperation highlighted in the agreement. This new chapter follows the signing of the deal on 19 June 2015, as well as another one between the Commerce Regional Council and the Standing Committee of Jiangsu Provincial People's Congress on the 20th of October 2023. Officiating at the event, Commerce Governor Laura Macleod Kashurua said the work plan will focus on 6 priority areas for the next 5 years. Now, according to MarketWatch, Anglo American has slashed its annual diamond production forecast by about 10% as its De Beers subsidiary reins in gem production in response to higher than average inventory levels in the world market. The Diversified Mining Group reported a 23% drop in rough diamond production to 6.9 million carats for the first quarter of 2024. We'll now take a quick ad break and take a look at what's headlining economic news after the break.
Hi Sonia.
Hi Tufeni. What are you reading?
I'm reading about the Child Care and Protection Act. In this pamphlet I got from school.
What's that?
It is Namibia's main law for the children and the issues affecting them. The act classifies here that a child is anyone under the age of 18 years. Check out some of the rights meant to protect you. For more information, contact the Children's Advocate.
For more information, contact the Children's Advocate Namibia in the Office of the Ombudsman on 061 20 73 111. Send us an SMS on 20401. SMS costs 40 cents. You can also send us a message via our Facebook page. Remember, the services of the Children's Advocate are free of charge.
In economic news this afternoon, Portuguese oil company Galp Energia has launched the sale of half of its stake in an exploration block offshore Namibia, where it has made a major oil discovery. 3 industry sources familiar with the matter told Reuters. Galp's Mopane discovery, which is estimated to hold at least 10 billion barrels of oil and gas equivalent, appears to be one of the largest in the basin, which could help kickstart the Southern African country's oil industry, even as governments around the world seek to reduce fossil fuel consumption. Galp has an 80% stake in Petroleum Exploration License 83, PEL 83, which covers almost 10,000 square kilometers in the Orange Basin, with Namibia's national oil company Namcor and independent exploration group Custos each holding another 10%. We'll now take a look at the financial indicators just before we get into African news. The Namibian dollar trades at 23.74 to the British pound, 20.44 to the euro, 19.13 against the US dollar, and 2 Namibian dollars and 64 cents buys you 1 Chinese yuan. First Rand Namibia Limited stocks took a dip of 0.50%, while its sugar holdings in Namibia Breweries Limited stocks took upturns of 2.50 and 0.03% respectively, while the rest maintained. Gold and Brent crude oil took dips of 0.25% and 0.40% respectively, while copper and platinum went up by 1% and 0.25% respectively. Local index closed on an upturn of 0.12%, while overall index closed on a dip of 0.05%. And now getting into our African news. The funding of a $150 million tourism project in Tanzania by the World Bank has been stopped due to allegations of rape, evictions and killings. The project aimed to double the size of Ruaha National Park, but critics argue that the expansion led to widespread abuses. Following accusations of complicity in these abuses, the World Bank initiated an investigation last year. On Tuesday, expressing deep concern about the allegations, a spokesperson from the bank announced the suspension of further fund disbursement with immediate effect. The World Bank, which provides loans to developing countries, clarified its stance. The Resilient Natural Resource Management for Tourism and Growth project commenced in 2017, aiming to enhance the management of natural resources and tourism assets in southern Tanzania, including various national parks. We'll now be right back after this with our international news. Now, the likelihood of TikTok being banned in the US has increased following the Senate's approval of a significant bill mandating its China-based parent company to sell the app. Under the bill, ByteDance has 9 months to divest the popular social media platform, with a potential 3-month extension for finalizing the sale. Otherwise, the app faces blockage. Passed within a larger $95 billion package providing foreign aid to Ukraine and Israel, the bill now awaits US President Joe Biden's signature, scheduled for Wednesday. We'll now take a quick ad break and get into our local and international sports thereafter.
Hello and welcome to today's Sports Rep Show.
I am your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraika. In replay, Namibia, who had won the toss for the first time on this tour.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with tennis news, both on the WTA for women's and
In local sports news, the 10th Swakop Open Championship for all styles of karate in Namibia took place in Swakopmund. The MTC Dome was a hive of activity and buzz recently, with karatekas from all over the country attending the 10th Swakop Open Championships for all styles of karate in Namibia, hosted by the Japan Shotokan Karate Association Namibia. In our next story, the Windhoek Sages branch proudly hosted the highly anticipated National Sages Golf Tournament, sponsored by Momentum for the 6th consecutive year. The event drew a field of 60 skilled players, showcasing a healthy increase from the previous year's 50 participants. Representatives from Swakopmund, Walvis Bay, Okahanja, Mariental and Windhoek congregated at the prestigious event, highlighting the widespread appeal and camaraderie fostered by the Sages community. And the Namibian Freshwater Bank Angling Association last Saturday announced its national teams to represent the country during Zone 5 competitions later this year. The teams include the Colts as well as Federation women's and men's teams. The juniors and Colts will take on their South African counterparts at Hartdap Dam, northwest of Mariental, from the 29th of June to the 6th of July 2024. Stay with us as we get into international sports news right after this.
Hi Sonia.
Hi Tufeni. What are you reading?
I'm reading about the Child Care and Protection Act in this pamphlet I got from school.
What's that?
It is Namibia's main law for the children and the issues affecting them. The act classifies here that a child is anyone under the age of 18 years. Check out some of the rights meant to protect you. For more information, contact the Children's Advocate.
For more information, contact the Children's Advocate Namibia in the Office of the Ombudsman on 061 20 73 111. Send us an SMS on 20401. SMS costs 40 cents. You can also send us a message via our Facebook page. Remember, the services of the Children's Advocate are free of charge.
In international sports news, Daniil Medvedev believes his addition of Jill Simon to his coaching team can help him understand clay better as the world number 4 looks to build confidence on his least favorite surface ahead of the French Open starting next month. Medvedev has won 19 of his 20 titles, including the 2021 US Open on hard courts, with a grass court crown that same year at the Mallorca Open. He won his lone clay court trophy at the 2023 Rome Masters in the lead-up to Roland Garros. Mamelodi Sundowns edged closer to the 2023-2024 DStv Premiership title this week, following a tense 2-1 victory over Sekhukhune United at Loftus Versfeld on Tuesday night. The Klokop Giants have now opened up a 13-point gap at the top of the pile and need 2 more wins to secure their 7th successive league title. And Kai Havertz and Ben White scored twice as Arsenal thrashed Chelsea 5-0 on Tuesday to surge ahead in the Premier League title race and ramp up the pressure on Liverpool and Manchester City. Leandro Trossard was also on target for the Gunners, who moved 3 points clear of Liverpool and 4 of Manchester City. If you're just joining us, this is NMH at 1, and we'll get into the highlights from today's broadcast right after this. You're still with NMH at 1. For those of you that are just joining us, or for those of you that need a quick recap, here are the news highlights. The funding of a $150 million tourism project in Tanzania by the World Bank has been stopped due to allegations of rape, evictions and killings. In international news, the likelihood of TikTok being banned in the US has increased following the Senate's approval of a significant bill mandating its China-based parent company to sell the app. And in local sports news, the 10th Swakop Open Championship for all styles of karate in Namibia took place in Swakopmund. The MTC Dome was a hive of activity and buzz recently, with karatekas from all over the country attending the 10th Swakop Open Championship for all styles of karate in Namibia. Those have been your highlights. Remember to tune in every weekday at 1 p.m. to spend your lunch hour with NMH at 1, catching up on the latest news in Namibia and beyond. I am Diana Master, and I do wish you a lovely Wednesday ahead.